First of all, Robin, how was your off season? Relaxing?
Yeah, the first couple of, probably the first month, it was nice to not think. And it was good to get away for a while, reflect on some things. And then after about a month, you start going back through old video and comparing things. And, next thing you know, here we are. So it was about a good month.
Did you get to see your daughters?
Yeah. Spent Thanksgiving in New York with both of them. And then the younger one was here for Christmas. So we definitely got to spend some time.
You inherited somebody else's team really last year when you came. This is now, while the roster isn't complete, this is really, does it feel like your team now going into this year?
Yeah, probably more so. Certainly, I've been a part of a group that now gets to mold and shape the team. Obviously, this is led by Jason, and the scouting team has done a really good job in identifying prospects for us. And we feel like we are moving in the direction that we would like to be, meaning, yes, coaches come in, they get these players to play this style. Coach moves on, you have these players left over. That's happened quite a few times here in the last number of years. And I thought the guys did a tremendous job last year in what was asked of them. But this has given us an opportunity to maybe try to get more players that fit more into the way, and again, not the way that I necessarily want to play, but the way that the club wants to play. And I think that that's an important distinction, is that TFC is now making a very concerted effort to be club driven rather than the whole world turns upside down every time they have another coach. So I think it's an important approach by the club, and certainly something that I knew coming in and was certainly agreeable with. And I have my share of influence, obviously, but I do think that the club is approaching it the right way. And as a result, we're putting together a team that I think the club's going to be very proud of.
How would you describe the club ambition and style?
I think it's to be aggressive where we can defensively, win the ball back. And then certainly the common philosophy that I would say we share is an ability to manipulate opposition to create opportunities for yourself. And I know that's a very vague statement, but it's, I would say that we're pretty aligned in the way that we want to approach a game.
What goals or what do you want to achieve during the 3 weeks in Spain? What are you looking to do?
Really get the team on the same page. This might have been the same answer I gave you last year at this time, but really get the team on the same page, because I do think that, and as we saw at the end of last year, when a team plays very cohesively, you can be very difficult to play against. It can be hard to be penetrated. You can be hard to be penetrated. But then we want to continue in that vein. But certainly the other thing that we want to do is really gel our attacking ideas and be able to manufacture more chances. And there's a lot of different ways that we've looked at that, based on going over a lot of what we did last year. But the idea is to remain as solid defensively as we have been, even more so, and then become really cohesive in our attacking ideas.
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you expect to get a forward soon? It's looking a bit thin in the forward ranks right now.
Well, we are certainly looking at a number of players. As I said, Jason and the scouting team have done a really good job of identifying a couple of different types of attacking players and making the inroads that we need to with them. So we feel like before it's all said and done, we will be pretty happy with what we have up front. But certainly we're working through a number of different players, options, evaluating what styles best fit into what we want to do.
Will, in terms of the travel group to Spain, will it be TFC2 players? Will there be someone else traveling?
Yeah, there'll be some of the young guys that have been training all week and have looked really good. And I think it bodes really well for the future of the club when you see some of these young players step in and either not skip a beat or adapt pretty quickly. Certainly we're talking about guys who are relatively young, and to see them step into this space and be able to play and contribute as they have already so far, it's certainly encouraging. So I'm looking forward to seeing how they develop there.
Do you know how many games or even who you'll play while you're in Spain?
We will have either 5 or 6 games. I don't think they're all completely nailed down yet, but I think we're close to getting all of them. There'll be a couple of different teams from different countries, really. I know that there are teams there from Norway, I think potentially Denmark, Korea. So we will get to play some interesting and different opposition for us, which I think the whole point of it for me is to get our team to, you asked what the goal is in Spain. I think the goal is to get the team to make decisions on the fly. You're facing different opponents. You're not exactly sure what you're going to see out of these opponents, but based on a set of principles, can the team collectively make the right decisions to stop teams and how to hurt teams? And so part of that is for us to train them to look at the game the way that we look at the game, so that when different things arise, then they can hopefully collectively make the same decision based on a set of principles that we try to play with.
It's early days yet. Can you give us your thoughts on the new faces in camp, Walker, Brazilian, and also maybe you can talk about the new goalkeeper that you know from your days in Colorado?
Walker's great. He's been great. He's not only, well, first of all, he's ridiculously good in front of the microphone. Sit next to him and go, man, I thought that was good. This guy's unbelievable. But he's very, very mature, very composed. And I think the same level of thought that you see with him at the microphone is the exact same thing as him on the field. Defensively, so dialed in. Offensively, very aware of what's around him. And I just think he has a ton of experience and the right personality for us that I think he's going to be very, very good for us. Mateus, we've kind of slow rolled him because we don't want to take chances with the turf, that sort of thing. He's a player I'm very excited about. We've talked for a long time about trying to get a left-footed Richie. And in terms of his quickness, his intensity, his ability with the ball, he is similar, I'm sure different in a lot of ways, but similar in his athletic profile. So we're really excited about him. And then Will is another one who I had for several years in Colorado. He is an absolute, he's a consummate professional. No matter what the situation, works incredibly hard. He's great at working with teammates. And that's the thing about he and Walker especially, is that as we look to fill some leadership voids, we're looking at players who I think specialize at not only being good players, but they make people around them better. And we've all seen players who are good players and they don't do anything for the rest of their team, but they individually are good when they get the ball. For us to be who we want to be, we need a number of guys who not only are good players, but can make other people better. And making other people better can go in a lot of different directions. It can be barking at guys when you need them, pat on the back when you need it, when they need it. It can be tactical instruction. It can be how the message is delivered. And I think Walker and Will are both guys who do all of those really well.
And do you see, how would you describe the goalkeeper ranking right now?
What do you mean?
In terms of, does Luka go in as number one?
I mean, I think it's the politically correct thing to say is everybody's fighting for an opportunity. Certainly, we know Luka's a very good goalkeeper. We've seen him. I've seen him for a year now. Watch him in training quite a bit. Obviously, even the games he got into last year, I thought he did really well. So I would think that Luka's really hungry at this point, and so this is a real opportunity for him. On the other hand, I would say Will, his competitive fire never burns out. Like, I don't know what he's going to do when he retires, because he is so dialed in and such a hard worker and so good with his team and how he delivers the messages that we certainly expect it to be a good level of competition for both of them. I think they both are going to improve because of each other.
It looked like Zane was back in full training, which is great news. But with regards to Henry and Nixon, what's their status?
Again, well, obviously Nix is coming off the long injury, and it will take some time. And again, not things that we want to risk on the turf. So he is improving and coming along day by day, and we expect to see him on the field pretty quickly in Spain over the Nix. And then Henry, I think, is in a similar boat. Obviously, he's not coming off a long injury. Well, he is, but he's a little niggle here, a little niggle there. And again, we don't want to take chances with him on the turf. And I think both of them will be into action pretty quickly, relatively quickly, once we get to Spain. Yeah, once we're on grass.
Is everyone here, Robin? Like, is there anyone missing? Like, from everyone's reported to camp?
Everyone has reported to camp. Yeah, everyone has reported to camp. We're still, as I said, looking at a couple of players.
Yeah, sure.
But in terms of guys who are under contract, guys who are drafted, second team guys, I think everyone's here.
And are there any other injuries that you're dealing with? I didn't see Theo or Jules out there.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Theo. Theo just had a small thing pop up in the off season. So he's another one that we are ramping up slower and not taking a chance on the turf and that sort of thing. And I can't remember the timeline as to exactly when he'll get in Spain, but he'll also be within the first week in Spain.
Have there been any changes to your staff, Robin? We see that Cesar has moved on.
Cesar has moved on. Steve Haynes, who's been here for a while, is kind of the second to Cesar, is the guy in the role for now. I have tremendous confidence in Steve. He's been at a high level in England for a very long time, and actually, because of his desire to get into the league, came over here and took a number 2 spot because he wanted to get to MLS. So for him, this is not an unfamiliar place at all, to be the lead guy in the sports science and performance department. And he's very capable, very competent, has a really good way with the players too. And I think that in that role, that's a really important thing, because at the end of the day, that job means you make guys do things they don't want to do. And those who are the best at it are able to do that. And I do think that Steve, from what I've seen, does a really good job of relating to the players and getting them to do lots of things that I don't want to do anymore.
Can I ask you a Canada question about a player that you've worked with before? Ralph Fraser has turned heads with his new role as a centre back.
Yeah.
Just wonder what your thoughts about Ralph and also his development and shift to the back line.
It's fantastic. I'm so proud of Ralph. I saw him in the offseason. He was here training, and I just said, you've done a tremendous job. And he, I think, is reluctantly accepting the role. When I say reluctantly, I did the same thing. When you're a midfielder, you say, I'm a midfielder. I don't want to play in the back. Well, I had a 17-year professional career after my college coach turned me into a center back. So I think Ralph's instinct is he's still holding on to a little bit of the midfield desire. But I do think that he's well aware that he's making inroads as a center back. His passing has been exceptional out of the back. Ralph's really strong. So his physical strength, I think, comes in handy there. He has great balance, and he's kind of making the role his own. So I think he's done tremendously well.
Did you watch the Canada game at all?
Last night?
Or
2 nights ago?
Yeah.
No, I was going to bed. Someone sent me the starting lineup. I was like, I'm not going to be able to watch it. But I will go back and watch it.
I was just wondering, obviously, that Malik kind of came in and made pretty
great goal.
What kind of role do you foresee for him this year?
That is yet to be determined, and that is up to Malik to force his way into the lineup and to play. But he's got a tremendous skill set, and I don't know if I've said this publicly. Malik reminds me a little bit of Kobe when Kobe was about 23 Kobe Jones. Kobe started off as a specialist. He was a wide guy, kind of his quickness was his thing, and he was a good server. He reminds me a lot of Malik, and if Malik develops anywhere like Kobe does, he's going to be a hell of a player, because Kobe turned into much more than just a specialist as a winger. He was lethal as a 9. Just his understanding of the game grew so much. And in, what did we play, 5 years, and even the years after I was gone from the Galaxy, Kobe just got better and better. So that's the player that I compare Malik the most to. The goal that he created the other night, gosh, I could probably, off the top of my head, think of about at least 10 that Kobe's created that looks very, very similar. So I think this is a player who is really just on the cusp of being who he can be. He's really quick. He's a very good server. You think about the goal last year against Philadelphia. That was an example of, or that was almost a mirror image of what we saw the other day. And so you can have an incredible career as a specialist, especially as a winger. But I do think even as time goes on, he'll add more and more to his game. He'll add more goals to his game too. So I'm very excited. This is a player that we think very highly of.
What are your thoughts of drawing Ottawa in the first round of the Canadian Championship?
I think when did I see that? Just yesterday? I haven't really thought about it, to be honest. I've had a few other things on my mind. But I think I said this last year before we started. I'm incredibly disappointed to go out in our first game, but the Canadian Cup is something that's very huge to us and something that the club is a goal, a serious goal of the club. And for the years I was here in the past, I think we won maybe 3 out of 4 or 4 out of 5. I can't remember what it was. So it's something near and dear to my heart. I feel like it's something that we really want to make a run in, and we really want to go after. I think the other 2 MLS teams in Canada, I think, are very much on the upswing. Vancouver's excellent, clearly, in what they've done. And I think what Montreal has done in the last 12 months, I think, shows that they're a serious contender as well. So I think it'll be hard fought. It'll be a real battle, but it's something that we really have our eyes focused on.
Well, these first 10 days or so can be a little bit of a mishmash. You have fitness testing, a lot of running, guys kind of in and out. Just what's been your impression of the group? What can you glean from it?
I really like, we had a talk early in the year, or not early in the year, in the off season. Got on a call and just reiterated to everyone that they need to come in fit because we don't have time to waste. We need to get off to a good start. We don't want to waste time with guys getting injuries and backing off and having to change sessions. So the first thing I was impressed with is that I think just about everyone came in really good shape, which allows us to push more from the very beginning, which I think allows us to get to our end goal sooner. So really happy with that at first. Really happy with the intensity and attentiveness to detail that we've seen so far. So it's almost been like we've been on a couple of different tracks for a couple of days, and then now the group is starting to get back together. So when we look at these young players who've come in, some are brand new, some are from T2, some are from younger, U18s, and to see them all come together and have them understand what is asked of them and put it together and put out a good performance, I thought was really encouraging.
You talked last year a lot about engagement and the players rewarding themselves, Robin. I guess those are kind of core principles, but are you beyond having to reinforce that now, do you think?
I don't think you're ever beyond reinforcing that. I think because all the tactical ideas in the world, all the skillful plays in the world, none of that matters if the group isn't really engaged, because you're not in a position to win games. If you're not really engaged, you're hanging on and you're hoping. So I don't think that message ever really ends. You'd like to think that maybe they'll hear less of it from me and they'll demand more of it from themselves. If certainly this first week is any indication, I feel like the group that is here from last year came in with the same level of intensity or better, and the newer players have come in. I think the younger players are kind of looking around going, okay, things are really fast here, but they're catching the speed. And I think the experienced players who are coming into the group, they know what it's like to be successful and what the pace needs to look like. So they've caught it right away. And I feel like the intensity and engagement is probably the number one thing that I'm encouraged by so far. Today we just played 10v10 with some specific requirements defensively, and the pace of it was unreal. So just that and I said it to them afterwards, so it's funny you ask a question. That level of engagement that we saw here today on day, I don't know, 5, 6 of training, like if that's there every day, we'll end up where we want to. But that needs to be a constant, and I'll put it on them that they have to push each other, push themselves. I was going to say push themselves, and more importantly, or as importantly, stay on each other and push each other, because this is a group that we feel excited about. We feel like this is a promising group. But as I said, and I will always say, that none of it matters. Doesn't matter how talented you are if you're not engaged and you're intense.